the pressure of, oh, you have these accolades or something, or you're supposed to be something and it's not happening. And how do you think the world of social media, because we can't let the out I always say this quote, you can't let the outside determine what's on the inside because you're never going to be happy. As you said, life is crazy, it's chaotic, you can't control it. So how does social media play in that? Get their reward from the outside.
Sure. Well, I think there's so much comparison that happens with social media, and it's very important. Social media is very curated. It's very like filtered. People are only putting out parts of their life, not the whole. And we all have part of our life that's vulnerable or insecure or filled with self-doubt. And just like we have parts of ourselves that are confident and assertive or gregarious and really extroverted. And the parts don't make the whole, right? Like I can have a flat tire doesn't mean I need a new car. It means I work on the part. And so I think a lot of times people get stuck in this kind of all or nothing. It's all good, it's all bad. And they see people on social media like, oh, look how everything is always good for them. Versus like, well, yeah, they're only putting out their good parts, right? Like that most people aren't putting on social media, like, yeah, I got passed over for a promotion and I'm fighting with my partner and I got a flat tire and my kids aren't getting bad grade. Like, it's like, whoa, like I don't know how to handle that. And people just kind of like
Yeah.
there's no like button. I don't, what do you do with that, right? Rather than like, hey, let me show you how great this wonderful trip is. And I like, got a promotion and they hype themselves up because there is a performative aspect to social media. And so I think that's where, there's this unfortunate reality I think we're living through is called loneliness. And we're not really connecting with people. Like social media isn't the whole person, right? There's just these parts. And I think a lot of, men, there's a lot of male loneliness happening. It's hard to build friendships. It's hard to build community. There just isn't time for things. And so I think social media is a way to be like, hey, like I can put out there the good things in my life and people will make me the illusion of feeling connected to maybe somebody you haven't seen in 20, 25 years. But like at the end of the day, you're really feeling alone. Like you really want to have a phone call or a FaceTime or like, God bless you, meet somebody in person. And so I think there's this opportunity to really bring things offline and into reality. The virtual world is not the real world. And I think that's where a lot of people get it's in the work I do with clients, a lot of online activity is just really self-regulation. That like we don't want to think about ourselves. So sometimes people drink or they use pot or they do social media. Like it's a way to kind of turn off my brain. And I think what happens is then it amplifies these feelings of insecurity or feeling deficient, feeling lesser, rather than like, well, I'm equal, regardless of like life treating me well or being hard. I'm still an equal person. And like what I think and feel is equally important. And people care about me. But if I don't let people know what I need, they're going to assume everything's okay. And especially when I create this image on social media, it's like, oh, look how great everything is. And then it's like, wow, I can't believe Aaron's so depressed. He ended up in the hospital. But like sometimes that's where like, people don't want to, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to feel weak rather than like allowing yourself to feel equal.
And I don't know if you have any recommendations for people who, yeah, maybe they are too involved in social media and it has been contributing to maybe a negative impact on their emotional state. So, any words for those people that can help them out?
Well, I guess what I think about is what can we do to make ourselves happy? And it sounds like a simple question, but it's one of the questions I ask a lot of, especially a lot of men. And they're like, I don't know. I know what I can do for my job or my parents or my spouse or my kids, but like, what makes me happy? And so it's like, sometimes it's building a skill, sometimes it's learning something, sometimes it's exploring, it's travel. It, and so, where I guess I'm trying to say is we go from the virtual world back to the real world. And even just like sometimes going for a walk, going to the gym makes me feel happy, makes me feel like I can influence this. I can control how much I'm bench pressing or how fast I'm going on the treadmill. And so there's something empowering in that. You know, just shooting some hoops, even if it's just by yourself, there's something more meditative and grounding in that. And so I think there's opportunity. I mean, there's lots of app blockers and ways to kind of put limits on social media, but it's like, what is it I'm not trying to disparage technology in general because I think there's value in it, but like, what is it I'm really trying to do with my time? It's something I think worth noting is that, we all get 24 hours. I don't care if you're Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, we all get 24 hours. It's, so 8 hours to work, 8 hours to sleep, 8 hours to live in an ideal world. and even 8 hours of living, I got to commute, I got to groom, I got to eat, I got to spend all the time with my relationships. I don't really have a lot of time for me. And I think a lot of times we're just burning that time on social media rather than being protective. I would just give people my ATM number. So why am I just giving people my time? And more specific, we get 168 hours a week. And so if you think about it, if you're sleeping 50, you're working 40, you get 78 hours to do everything. And that sounds like, well, that's not bad. But really, again, I got to invest in all the relationships, all the house, all the chores, all the demands of life. Where I'm going to your question is, where is there time for me? And again, I have to be on my list of priorities because, the old airplane, if I don't put my air mask on, how do I help those around me? And a lot of people, I think, see that as selfish. What I talk about is self-preservation. I take care of me so I can be a good husband and father and son and brother and employee and all the things. But it all starts with Aaron.